Gemini rising. How you doing, Gemini? This is your reading for the Pisces Virgo nodal shift that happened on the 11th or 12th of January, depending on what part of the planet you are connecting from. Ishala diala, dishala mozuela dianima, tuila madianima duanima. My name's Chloe. I work with card divination, astrology, and as you just heard, and as you can see, I channel multi-dimensional energies through my body, both in the form of physical and vocal light language. All of this brings in healing, attunement, and activation codes to the messages that are going to come through in this reading. So I'm going to be breaking down. Firstly, I'm going to be pulling 4 cards related to the closing out and integration and activation of the Aries Libra nodal axis. And this is going to involve the Cancer and Capricorn area of your chart as well. I'm going to be pulling 1 card on each of these signs of what's been upgraded, basically, with all of the work that you've been doing with the eclipses. I'm then going to move on and I'm going to pull some cards and talk about the Virgo South Node and then the Pisces North Node. And then I'm also, there's going to be a lot going on in this video, I'm also going to be pulling a couple of cards on the Sagittarius and Gemini energy as well. Now I'll explain why I'm going to do that as we unfold. I'll be pulling 4 cards from 4 different oracle decks at the end and bring that all of this energy together. Now, a little bit of housekeeping. There is a competition on at the moment. There is 2 days to enter. Got until the end of the 19th of January to do so. There are 3 private readings up for grabs. So if you want to enter the competition, leave a comment in the description box. It will get you immediately entered into that. If you want a personal reading based on the Mars retrograde that's happened, it's in the sign of Cancer right now. It's done the retrograde part of the Leo cycle, but this cycle won't finish until the 2nd of May, so it's a big one. Mars retrogrades the least out of all the celestial bodies. Your motivation, your drive, your action, it's very personal, right? And so if you want a personal reading based on this, it happens every 2 years, so it's a significant transit. They are 50% off at the moment, so if you want to take me up on that offer, email me directly. Third and final bit of housekeeping, I have set up a new channel. It's called Quantum Vibe Tarot. I've linked it into this channel, so if you go on the homepage it will be there immediately, and that's where I'm doing more transmissions, right? It's not astrology based, it's not, the focus isn't astrology, it's transmissions, download codes, activations. I'm using a lot of decks, I'm going quite fast, there's lots more channeling in there as well. I'm also on camera, which is wild to me. So if you want to check that out, there's only 2 videos up at the moment. Today I'm probably going to do a South Node Virgo transmission and also a Pisces North Node transmission, because today is Venus's day and she's in the sign of Pisces and the moon is in the we're having our first moon cycle in Virgo since the nodes changed signs. Now, I read for the rising signs. So for those of you who don't have Gemini in the 1st house, look to the house it does fall in your natal chart. Look to the themes of that house and you want to apply those themes along with all the other meaning you've got going on in the sign of Gemini to the messages that come through. Because it will be as if that Gemini energy, wherever it falls in your natal chart, has now energetically moved to the 1st house. So the astrology for the rising sign will always link in. You've just got to add on your own natal chart meaning on top of it. For example, I've got Gemini in the 11th of hopes and dreams, friends, groups and alliances, and reaping the benefits from my 10th house. It's the house of good spirits. I've also got Chiron there and the asteroid Pallas Athena. So I'd apply all of that to what comes through in this reading. So let's get into it. Firstly, we're going to do, as I said, we're going to pull a card for each of the cardinal signs. So this is linked into the previous eclipse cycle in Aries and Libra. So the North Node was in Aries. What we're headed for, let me pause, sorry, there's just a lot to say. There is a 3-part series that I've already done on the Pisces Virgo nodal transit series. In part 1, I break down the meanings of the North and South Node, the significance of eclipses, as well as I tapped in and pulled collective cards for the Pisces North Node. That's part one. Part two is the Virgo South Node. Again, pulled collective tarot cards in that one. And in those two videos, I pulled some oracle cards, and they're here on deck, along with all the oracle cards that I pulled before starting the transit. The oracle reading will come after the All 12 Signs series. I'm really looking forward to doing that. The energy is very strong already, but I'm keeping it here on the table in order to bring this energy into these readings. Part three is where I've combined the Virgo and Pisces North-South Node together, pulled some cards of how to work with them, as well as some other astrological things that can help you look at your own chart to really make this a personal understanding of how this transit's showing up. So if you want a deeper understanding of this 1.5-year transit, it's a big deal. Eclipses are huge transits. You might want to pause this video and go and watch that 3-part series. I know it's a lot, but it is covering a 1.5 years, and it is covering the vibe shift that we're all in right now. And I really get into the weeds of Virgo and Pisces and what I've connected to, the channeled messages that I've got, the feelings that I've had around what's going on in Virgo, what's going on in Pisces for us collectively, and that will act as a baseline of what shows up in this reading. I'm not going to go into astrology too much apart from the houses these signs are going to fall in. Because otherwise, each of the All 12 Signs series will be about 2.5 hours, and that's not the vibe, right? So Aries, North Node energy. You've closed out this cycle in your 11th house of hopes and dreams, friends, groups and alliances, and reaping the benefits from your 10th house. This is called the House of Good Spirits, and the North Node is about heading into new territory, what we're striving for, what we're expanding into, what we're hungry for. It is it's the expansion. It really amplifies the energy of what were your hopes and your dreams. Were you finding that you were navigating a path that was slightly unfamiliar, but also kind of based on your root energy, that was allowing you to work and expand with your hopes and dreams in ways you may not have done before? It would have been bringing in big activations. Really striving to expand to being yourself in groups, right? Connecting with groups that may be linked into your hopes and dreams in situations that you haven't done before. You may have been in an awareness of benefits from your 10th house, which is your life purpose, your career, your visibility, your reputation. You may have found that you would have just been exploring the resources, the benefits that you've been getting from the work that you've been doing in the 10th in new ways that were really facilitating a wider understanding of what's possible with you, Itoela, and around you, Itiala. I just realised I'm still shuffling when I wanted to get into Libra. So that's the cycle that you've been going with eclipses. They're honoring the I am of self, and also the I am of other people, in terms of that group think, that group mentality, right? That everyone has their own path to go down, and Aries can be hyper independent, and it was releasing the independence that made it a bit contrary. And happening in the 11th really allows you to step into a space of honoring yourself and honouring the paths of all the people that you're connecting to, rather than being in separate, rather than expecting people to follow certain paths or behave in certain ways. There was just generally just a release of the inner conflict that you may have felt when you're engaging with groups, and instead activating your capacity to be authentic, be autonomous, which would then feed into groups as well and bring in activation codes that way. Now, the Libra South Node was over in your 5th house of your creation energy, the house of joy, right? Pleasure, amusement, games, children, both literal children as well as figurative children, such as your inner child and creative things you birth into the world Creative things you birth into the world that feel like your children. It's also about romance, dating, and love. Now, the South Node is the tail of the dragon. What we're releasing, what we're purging, things falling away, sort of a more inner, esoteric yin experience compared to the yang energy of the North Node, which is outward manifestation, trying new things, exploring new things. The South Node is that purge energy that then allows us to concentrate what's left behind. Now, South Node in the 5th house is a great cycle to work with sort of more tantric energy when it comes to your creation energy. Because you may have found that there would have been restrictions and things just not manifesting when it comes to romance and dating and love. That may have just felt like you've let go of certain habits because you've been denied certain things. I'm just thinking of I'm a big fan of Drag Race, of drag. And there's a drag queen called Katya, part of Trixie and Katya, who I've been a long-term season 7 stan, that she's a Gemini rising, if I'm to believe the information on the internet. So, it's not being confirmed, but looking at that chart as a Gemini rising and understanding her nature as much as I can, given what I've observed of her, she referenced over that eclipse cycle that she went through different phases of giving up visual stimulation when it comes to arousal. I think you know what I'm talking about. I'm wary of saying the word that begins with P on YouTube, but she went through phases of that, and so that's what you would have been got. You may have found there's just been a restriction around all of this, a sort of a pulling back of those old patterns that allowed you to really step deeper into your creation energy. So often we can prioritize reproduction and the feelings we feel around that act because we're mammals and we've got this drive for that, but we funnel that energy in one place, whereas pleasure and that joy and that resonance can be found in all areas of life, and that sense of your creative life force was essentially getting a reboot. So Capricorn, right, was where the North Node in Aries was manifesting, because Capricorn and Cancer square, 90-degree angle, Aries and Libra. They're all cardinal energy. And so the Capricorn energy for this whole transit was acting as the manifestation and building of that North Node in Aries. So these activations around your hopes and your dreams, of pushing into new territory, of feeling, of going into group spaces that you may not have done before, was that all of that instinct energy that Aries was activating was having you build over in Capricorn, which is your 8th house. This is the house of the outside world's resources, right? This can be one-off chunks of resources, whether that's money or anything else, like debt that's owed to you or debt that you owe. This can be bonuses and commissions, inheritance, both 3D and cosmic inheritance. And it's also relationship dynamics, because it's the exchange between you and anything other than yourself, right? Time, money, energy, intimacy, ideas. We can have scarcity complexes. We can have greed. We can have codependence, hyper independence around relationship dynamics, a fear of like the scarcity, right, of resources, the competition vibe over in the 8th house. It's also your relationship dynamic with source and the resources from source. So you heading into new territory, right, in terms of manifesting your hopes and dreams. What are even your hopes and dreams, as well as connecting to groups, perhaps understanding, right, the what you're reaping from your 10th house in terms of life purpose and career, and then knowing what to do for the next stage of that, right? So with the 8th house, this can see going on courses, so you're working with the resources of the outside world to elevate your skills, right? this can be you through working in groups and coming to a deeper understanding of self, recalibrating relationship dynamics, having a greater awareness of that ebb and flow, you know, being in situations that's kind of pushing you in a vulnerable way that's really healthy to explore who am I when I interact with other people, because if you're working with groups, you're engaging with lots of different people, that's going to really amplify the manifestation of healthier relationship dynamics. Itala diale moyela diatuma dianima or shalima dianima or tufala ditanima. Now, the Cancer energy is where the South Node in Libra was manifesting. Oh, yeah. Itoela dianima dishinima ditanima or toela dianima or toela. Now that was more of an inner yin experience, right? So I've done, if you want a deeper understanding of what I'm about to talk about in terms of the Cancer energy, same with Capricorn, the last two lunations were new moon in Capricorn, full moon in Cancer, and I go into a lot more detail of like what's been manifest, like the energy around that, how that may have shown up. And that full moon in Cancer is also the first lunation since the nodes have changed signs, and the astrology of that was very, very similar to the exact moment the nodes changed signs. The moon was in fact in Gemini at that moment, so shout out to you, Gemini. So that Cancer full moon energy has a lot of stuff in it that adds on to how to work with all of this. So that Cancer energy, your resources, the second house, your skills and your tools of how you manifest and bring in regular income. It is the things that you value, and most importantly, how you value yourself. If you do not value yourself truly, madly, deeply, unconditionally, we then can place value in things that highlight the distortion of our own value, right? So we can place value in things that do not value us because we're not valuing ourselves. It also can mean that you're not accessing your skills and your tools and your manifestation energy in the same way, right? Are you worthy to receive a higher income? Like that kind of stuff. Are you do you value yourself enough to step up to the plate and refine your skills? So the South Node of your creation energy that was going through a deep purge and release and condensing was manifesting in this inner experience with Cancer. It's a maturity energy with the South Node that was through this, perhaps from a lack of distractions of the house of joy, the fun, the amusement, the games, the play, the pleasure, all of that, because that may have been restricted, is then you've been reorientating your focus on refining your skills, of letting go of certain aspects of your skills and condensing them, right? Of letting go perhaps inner child stuff over in the fifth, where the South Node was, or love relationships that can really diminish our self-value. Because of that refinement there, it's been acting as a condensing of your own value, of your own capacity, that you've just been reorientating your focus. You may have also noticed perhaps not necessarily getting the same kind of regular income, but there's been a priority of really harnessing those skills, as well as understanding at a deeper level, finding more creative energy, because it's been limited in the fifth house, but it's showing up in the second, right? So finding more of that joy, that passion in your skills, right? So we have 4 cards and the card at the bottom of the deck for this whole axis. Now, all of the things I've just talked about, they were all interacting with each other. They're all like feedback looping between each other. So you may have noticed some other connections between the other houses that I haven't mentioned. So the Aries energy, the hopes and dreams, the good spirits, the friends, groups and alliances, and reaping the benefits from your 10th house. This is the energy you're taking with you now, right? This is closed out an 18 to 19 year cycle. And we've got the Ace of Pentacles. This is beautiful because this is like a higher perspective of manifestation in the 3D, a renewal of energy, right? Of your capacity to activate and make steps in the 3D world around your hopes and dreams, right? This is also activating a new cycle around what you're reaping from your 10th house of your life purpose and career. We actually have the flowers from the Magician card, which is Mercury's card, who rules you. By the way, Mercury, I'm sure you're aware of that. And this is about how you create from your unique frequency. That is, you know, it's getting you out of the group think, which can show up in the 11th, of the conditioning, of the expectations of the group, and us, this sort of fundamental desire to conform to that. This is telling me that you're no longer doing that, that you're no longer restricted by the collective group think of how dreams can manifest, how hopes can manifest, how the benefits can manifest, how you show up in groups. That is perhaps a little bit more unconventional, right? You're no longer being trapped by the groupthink limitations. The Libra energy. Oh, hi. Hi, High Priestess. This is the Moon's card. So this is... Libra can have anxiety, right? It's ruled by Venus, but Venus is a night planet and Libra is a yang day energy. And so this... Oh, I really love this. Like, through this process of letting go of a lot of anxiety, a lot of worry, are things going to turn out well? Letting go of inner child wounds, of restricting that energy to condense your creation energy. And it's showing up as you knowing you're drawing towards you that which brings you abundance and fertility, right? By the pomegranate and the palm leaves in the background, of you blending the inner and outer world together, right? You know, with the two pillars of the material and the unseen realms, of knowing that your needs are going to be met, right? Knowing that you don't have to force anything, you don't have to rush anything, that which your soul desires is coming towards you. So you're getting out of the way of the clawing and being in pain if things haven't been working out. You've come to a deep inner peace. That I love this, your creation energy is coming from a very intuitive place, right? And there's a real sense of knowing that's being embedded with you, that, you know, say you want a romantic relationship, say you want to work with children or have a child or be more creative or have more joy in your life. This is saying you don't have to push at it. You don't have to try and control it. It's going to come towards you if you just stay in your flow state. Now, the Capricorn energy of the 8th house of the outside world and your interaction with it. We got the 3 of Wands. So this is the sun in Aries. So we've got that Aries energy coming through in the sign of Capricorn, of you showing up and embarking on a new journey, of how you engage with the world, how you engage in relationship dynamics, how you engage with source. And this figure is standing on the cliff top. It represents having the higher ground, having the higher perspective. This figure is very confident in that they are going to show up and do the best that they can and be true to themselves in any given moment, which means they don't have to plan and worry about how things are going to unfold. So I really love this with the 8th, of this awareness, this instinctive awareness of you are showing up in a more authentic way that is allowing the reciprocity with the outside world to be magnified. Of being very confident when you're engaging in the world, when you're engaging in relationship dynamics, and having trust in yourself, right? Rather than externalizing yourself to those other relationships. I also feel that this is activating a cycle of resources coming in that have put you in a good position that then help manifest your hopes and your dreams. Whether that's from source or getting the loan that you need for your small business, whatever it is, that there's going to be an element of the universe providing support, so they're putting you in a good position. Now, the Cancer energy, we have the Fool. Really love this. This is your emotional body, which is Cancer, which is your 2nd house, being free of the grievances of the past, This is you feeling the confidence of your own existence, the joy of moving through the world, the good, the bad, the ugly, the beautiful, from the heart space, being curious and open to new possibilities of how you work with your skills and tools. You know, the Fool operates from the heart. The Fool loves who they are. They love their experience in this incarnation. They're really heart open, and the sun is at their back, pushing them forwards into new territory. So this is such a fresh energy around how you value yourself, around how you value your skills, but also allowing more space, more curiosity, more openness, and new pathways to open up with all the work that you've done, right? This is a energy free of being jaded in terms of manifesting life. Beautiful vibe here. At the bottom of the deck, we have you, Gemini. We've got the Lovers. So this is all about the integration of the masculine, feminine, and spirit that get you in alignment. So when you're faced with big choices, crossroad moments, you're able to make the right decision that serve you for the long term, right? It's a very powerful energy. And that really ties in with this frequency of the inner space, the new opportunities, new understandings, new journeys, fresh new energy that is serving your longer term incarnation. You know, falling in love with how you create and interact with the world. The unification of spirit within yourself. They just put it over the heart space. So that's the vibe. That's the closing out energy that you're getting with this nodal transit. Okay, cut the deck and got the 5 of Cups with the Fool going over it. So releasing grief, releasing stuck, stagnant energy. Oh, very similar. 3 of Wands with the Death card. Letting go of old relationship dynamics that don't serve you. That scarcity mindset, the fear mindset. 7 of Cups with the Ace of Pentacles. I'm getting 2 messages here. 1, this expansion around your hopes and dreams of going into new pathways with it, of not being limited anymore. And the Ace of Pentacles providing opportunities, as well as not being able to make a decision of what steps you need to take. And now the Ace of Pentacles is bringing in a fresher energy with it. With the Page of Wands in reverse with the High Priestess, where I cut the deck. There's been a block around your instincts and how you perceive information in your environment that's to do with the inner child, that is just creating a sort of negative feedback loop, right, of the past, of things not being in full manifestation. So pages are very useful, right? You can link them into children. And so that inner child that has been creating distorted instinctive responses around your creativity, the High Priestess has helped release. And I also feel like this is an inner understanding of what you really desire and what your passion is because of the restrictions. And now that High Priestess is allowing that manifestation to come through. 12:21 on the clock as I say it. Itoela di anima. Right, now let's get into the Virgo South Node. Itoela di alma doshalima di alima. We're going to be pulling, it's going to be 3 different piles. The first pile is going to be what's the intention? What is the main vibe that this eclipse cycle is intending for you, your soul, to connect to? Pile 2 is going to be the challenge. And then pile 3 is going to be how to work with the intention. And obviously this covers a 1.5-year cycle. And this is the general energy. I'm going to be obviously doing all of the lunations, so the specific eclipses. I'll go into more detail at the time. So, where's Virgo for you, my loves? Well, it's a fellow mutable sign, also ruled by Mercury, and it's over in your 4th house of your roots and your foundations. It's the bottom of the chart. It is your ancestors, both blood and soul lineage, your parental figures, the roof over your head, and the things that you do in private. I see a tree in the natal chart, and the 4th house is that root system. your Gemini energy is one of the branches, and the Sagittarius energy is another branch. And this is the self and the other, and we need these to be in balance in order to fully grow. That 10th house, where the North Node's going to be, is the leaves striving towards the sun, the expansion, right? So that 4th house, I happen to have the South Node in my natal chart in the 4th house. And this is a real sense of refinement and understanding of what foundations mean to you. What does your private life mean to you? It's a very inner yin esoteric experience. You're going to find a lot of things falling away when it comes to one, it can be your literal home, right? So you may be moving home, or refining your understanding and like doing a big clear out of stuff in your home. But it's where, with the South Node moving through the 4th, it's where you can really connect back to your past life energy, right? To the root of your soul, because you're clearing away the clutter. And there's a lot of trauma in the 4th because we're dealing with the ancestors as well as the parental figures. So the South Node moving through here is a letting go of a lot of those wounds, right? A lot of that pain, a lot of that heaviness that we can find in the 4th. And really then getting you back to the truth of your own frequency in that 4th house. Because then we condense that energy and we really magnify what's left behind. It's kind of, I gave the description of essential oils rather than eau de toilette, right? Which is a diluted form. South Node is definitely essential oils, where you get so much more for so little. And so we are, if you think of the root system, you're letting go of funneling nutrition and nutrients into parts of the root system that just keep you in a closed feedback loop. So it's then going to be redirecting the energy to that which serves to strengthen your foundation in the long term. It's going to condense and refine your relationship dynamic with your parental figures, or whatever you're connecting to that represent that. You're going to find that you're going to get a lot of downloads when you're just by yourself and going internally, right? You're going to get a lot of support from that South Node by having that practice and having more of a quieter inner introspective energy when you're in the home space, because that's going to allow the South Node to do a lot of its work. And realize that it is a process of things falling away, whether that is, literally you moving home, or your understanding of what your foundations mean to you, and old habits and old paradigms that are being let go of. Really strong energy around connecting deeply with the ancestors, both soul and bloodline, right? And so that's really going to allow you to condense your connection to that and really work with that. So that can be another practice that you can bring in during this nodal transit. Obviously it's ruled by, did we get a flipper? We did get a lol. We need to get one more card. Ishalima. Dinima di shanima di ti 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 namoyanama di shanima dianima dianima otoela dianima. So what was I going to say? Virgo is ruled by Mercury, and obviously you are ruled by Mercury as well. What will help is if you look to where Mercury falls in your natal chart. because wherever Mercury is and the house that it's in and the themes of that house are going to play a very significant role in how this shows up for you personally. So that will help you get a little bit deeper into your own chart. With that, there are other things that you can do to really refine that process. I've listed in the description box all the dates and the degrees of all the eclipses, as well as where's Jupiter going to be, which is to do with Pisces, and where Mercury is going to be through the whole transit. You might want to look back to June 2006 to December 2007. That was the last time the nodes were in the positions that they are now. So that will give you just some helpful understanding of like what showed up then. You know, it doesn't repeat itself, but there are common themes. So you might get an idea of what might show up here. I can see heightened productivity in the home space because you're letting go of a lot of clutter. So let's get into the tarot. So the intention of the South Node in Virgo is the Two of Pentacles in reverse and the King of Cups. So the Two of Pentacles for me in the upright is being on the hamster wheel, right? Of showing up, having to do work, go, got to survive, got to feed myself, got to have a roof over my head. And it blocks our ability to come up with new processes and new understandings. It blocks the joy, blocks the creativity, blocks the hopes and the dreams, right? So it's kind of tying in the elevation that you've done in the last cycle. And it's in reverse. So this South Node is really getting you into a space where you're no longer on that hamster wheel, right? Where you can come to your home and feel rested and safe and secure in your energy, right? You're establishing a stronger foundation of yourself that is allowing you to then break out of the confine of work. And no longer necessarily being in that fear mindset. So especially Virgo being in the fourth, it can be, I talk a lot about Virgo in part 2, so I do recommend it. But this essence of always having that sort of critical eye when you're at home that can get you out of your joy. So when you're at home thinking about all the things that you need to do for work, right? That kind of energy, in order to, you know, keep going and keep facilitating and keep activating. And this is really bringing in a calmness. That's allowing you to understand that we need that home space, or whether, you know, the internal space, to not be in the constant fear mindset of productivity. And often when we have that, it can freeze us. So we then do nothing because we're so in shame. And this feels like a shift away from that. We then have the King of Cups, right? This has been showing up a lot. And it's about emotional control. It's about a sense of neutrality. Around emotions, not numbness, because numbness means we're hiding from things. The king doesn't hide from any type of emotion, and in fact it's in the eye of the storm right now, the King of Cups, and it's calm, cool, calm and collected. And this is about cultivating your inner neutrality around your emotional responses, right? That can have us drowning, not floating, and then being able to harness that power and harness that love, that imagination, that creativity that is allowing you to then be in your mature setting, right? This sense of sovereignty of your own actions that come from your emotions and not the wounds of the parental figures or the ancestors. And this is feeding into the Pisces energy, right? Up in, and you know, it's water, and all your work houses are linked into water. So there's a real focus on releasing limitations around productivity and around work, just allowing you to bring in more creativity and joy and intuition rather than the planning of the Virgo energy. So I really like that sense of flow state that it's bringing in, where you can trust your actions rather than be in criticism. The challenge, Well, we've got the Ace of Pentacles again. And this is... So the South Node is predominantly purging energy and then condensing what's left behind. And this is fresh, new energy. So you may get a bit frustrated of the lack of newness, right? The lack of stuff going on in the home. It's an inner experience. It's an inner recalibration. And this is fresh, new, big energy, earth energy. So it's just maybe simply that you're wanting things to be a certain way and getting frustrated with the elongated process in which it's happening. I'm also just thinking, for some of you, I know I did say you might be moving, but it might be that you want to move and you can't, right? I mean, that's going to be specific for some of you. But the challenge here is this sense of this block one around new things coming in. I'm also getting another message, and I know it sounds contrary to the other one, that there is a renewal happening here. And you may be having like a bit of a death grip around the old ways in which you observe, the old ways in which you perceive your home, your roots, your foundations. That there's a part of you that you're going to be letting go of that is in conflict with the change. Dianima, So what cards have we got to work with this energy? It's predominantly for pile 1, but often it does bring in pile 2 as well. We've got the Two of Wands and the High Priestess. You've got 2 repeating cards showing up, which is fascinating. That's not happened so far. The Two of Wands is that kind of, it's a restless energy, but it's about long-term manifestation. And this figure is in their castle, in their home. They're standing at the top and they are getting the lay of the landscape, right? They have big dreams of going out into the world, but it's not quite what's happening here. This is, as I said, about long-term manifestation. You are here to cultivate and observe the unfolding that's going on with the South Node, not to push at it, not to rush out and make rash decisions. This is about, hey, slow your roll and take your time, because it will serve you in the long term. So this very much ties in with this frequency of the maturity of the king, right? In the process of letting go of this very strong paradigm of the fear mindset, that hamster on the wheel. You got 2 twos. That it does require observing the new reality, and that will help you reconfigure to the truth of what's unfolding rather than the old patterns. And then the High Priestess. So it's saying through this state of observation, through this state of, you know, getting the lay of your environment and what that feels to you and how that's shifting and growing as things get released, we then like step into your intuition, step into your inner knowing, and trusting in the process that even if there may be some difficult energy, South Node can be difficult, of things falling away that you thought you needed, you got to tap into this High Priestess who knows that everything that is unfolding is serving your abundant nature, is serving your needs being met, serving you getting nourishment and heightening your intuition. I also feel that this can be a really good time to practice getting into your intuitive body, right? And trusting in it and doing experiments with that intuition without any expectations or assumptions of how it's going to turn out. Because Virgo can do that. It can hyper-analyze because it's really good at observing what's the next stage, and that is very much in alignment with what came through in the Pisces Virgo collective readings. That Pisces energy is just cracking all of that open, and we've got to really trust in that process. So I'm going to pull some cards for Gemini now, because it, like the Libra South Node and the Cancer energy, which we already talked about, that South Node manifestation is happening in your sign, Gemini. So all of this refinement going on in your 4th house, in your root system, of finding a deeper flow state that's bringing more nutrients to your sense of safety, how you build in the world, what your private life means to you, your connection to your ancestors and your home, and how you're able to establish a strong foundation and condense that energy that's serving your greater life path. But it is bringing in restrictions and limitations, things falling away, things purging in order to do that inner work, that inner yin experience, esoteric experience. Now that's all building and manifesting in you, in your first house, which is the house of self. This is your embodiment of your actions and your deeds. It's either your sun or your moon. It depends if you've got a day or a night chart, which luminary is providing wisdom of where you're going. And so your ascendant is your navigator, the lens in which you move through the cosmic waters. So all of this recalibration of your root system, the releasing of old ways of being, is going to be affecting and manifesting in the refinement of self, the letting go of parts of self. You may have been more withdrawn than you usually are, more the inner experience of understanding who you are. It's your body, your character, your sense of self, and how other people see you. This first house Gemini energy. You may just feel a bit disconnected from yourself as well, and you've got to really trust in that process, because through that disconnection you are then recalibrating and activating something that may have not been able to come out because you were so swamped with certain ideas of who you are, right? That is now allowing that space to emerge. So through this sense of the deeper understanding of your roots, it's going to elevate your understanding of self. You're going to see different practices come through of how you move through the world, and just trust in the process of the unfolding, right? You're not going to have all the answers straight away, and understand that how you move through the world is going to be affected by what's going on in your foundations, right? It's going to be establishing stronger foundations that is going to give you more confidence of embodying yourself at more of an authentic level. Ooh, there we go. Got the card. We've also got the Tower and the Empress that fell on the floor, so pulling down structures that do not serve your embodiment of fertility in the 3D world, your just that sense of joy of existing, right? So your two cards for this, right? The intention is this, and this is how to work with it. Right, so we've got the Four of Pentacles, and this is you getting back to your frequency of how you build, and in the 3D world. I always see a force field around this figure. We've also got the pentacles on the feet, heart and crown chakras. That, the pentacle is the Venus retrograde cycle, and she wants us to feel good in the 3D world. She wants us to create, connect, feel love. And you see the city here. This figure is protected from the outside energy, which means they can connect to their internal energy and build from a place of safety and security from their own divinity, their own sovereignty. So this is really powerful. It's combining that Virgo energy of your roots, your foundations, your sense of safety and security, and it's letting you know you're not. The intention of what's refining over in Gemini is to get you in your power, so you are creating from that space and not from the external world. How to work with it. Two of Cups, right? This is about the integration of the feminine, masculine and spirit. And then we've got the Caduceus here, or the Kundalini energy with the two snakes, which represents deep healing and an activation of the true self, right? So there's something around here of you reconnecting to the love of self, you integrating different parts of yourself through respect, honor, dignity, and love, right? These two people are eye to eye. They are equal. They are both open to give and receive. And when we're in that state of vulnerability, of engaging with unity consciousness, we do deep healing that's allowing you to be back in your power. So there's a real sense of connecting to your roots and your strength of self that's allowing you to understand different versions of who you are and reconnect into unity of self that is about love, respect, honor, and dignity. So moving with that intention of the awareness of the healing process, of what it's bringing in is this sense of equality internally and love and respect. Bring that out in the qualities of the way that you move, right? In the way that you embody yourself. Okay, so we're going to pull some cards for Pisces. So the North Node in Pisces. Oh, by the way, also that obviously wherever Mercury is also affecting your sign, Gemini. So that's going to add on a similar theme to what I said with the Virgo energy. So Pisces is up in your 10th house, your life purpose, your career, your visibility, your reputation, how the big outside world sees you. It's where the sun was at the peak of its arc on the day that you were born. And so this is where I see the leaves at the top of the tree striving towards the sun, expanding into new territory. Wheel of Fortune at the bottom of the deck as I'm saying that. So the North Node is there, amplifying all of that. The North Node exaggerates that energy. It makes things big. It's what you're hungry for, what you're striving for, heading into new territory. The head of the dragon. And then you get the tail of the dragon with the purge. You get the imagery. So this is, I mean, just can't get over the vibe shift with this transit. I'm here for it. It feels so powerful. We're not here to push anything, right? When you're finding that there's resistance, stop whatever it is. Go do something else. You may get clues and signals and ideas of how to work with that resistance, but essentially it's not yang energy. Even though the North Node is more yang in nature, it's in a yin sign. We're not striving, we're not pushing, we're not clawing at things, we're not planning. It's a softness, it's a surrender, it's a trusting in the process. We're all doing a massive trustful with source right now. Of letting go of fears, of worries, of all the plans, hello Virgo, and activating a deeper trust in the non-linear, non-rational miracle energy of Pisces. So the North Node is giving you a real focus of where are you headed with your life path? Where are you headed with your career? It can take you into new territory around visibility and reputation, often by the South Node releasing wounds around that, because they feedback loop between each other, right? So the themes of the 10th are going to be intermingled with the themes of the 4th. What's being strengthened in the 4th is going to be feeding the 10th. So this may help release certain inner wounds, inner foundational energy that stopped and restricted your capacity to receive the light, to receive the understanding of where you're headed on your path. Diana, the worry, the fear, and all of that, as well as giving you lots of expansion when it comes to where you're heading with all of it, right? And how you're going to have a real focal point on life path and career. And it's always timed with the release in the 4th house. So this, I said earlier about that Virgo energy of always thinking about work at home. This is finding a new dynamic to engage in the root system and the expansion, right? Because there is a focus point on your life path and your career. And you may find you're doing that at home, but not in the way that is pushing, controlling, planning, worrying, obsessing, judging, criticizing, right? We're coming into a healthier dynamic of, it could be that you're resting at home in a really healthy way. that means that you've got more space to engage energetically and intuitively around your life purpose and career rather than being burnt out. You may have new opportunities come up around where you're going, what you're headed. For some of you, this may be about a promotion. And really allowing the miracles to happen, to your intuition, your magic to come through with that Pisces energy. We've got Saturn there as well. I forgot to mention Saturn really in the 3-part series. I'm going to bring it into the oracle reading because Saturn's been doing us a solid. Saturn's been in Pisces for ages. It's going to leave and move into Aries, but then go back into Pisces again during this year. That Saturn is all about responsibility, integrity, due diligence, commitment to your path, right, to your legacy energy. But it is that hard work and responsibility. So it's really gotten us in alignment with a sense of honor, right? Honor of that path, honor of what we are delivering on that path, right? So a lot of people in their careers, they're like, not embodied, not present, not giving all the best that they can. And I don't mean doing that in a way where you're then burnt out, because that's not the vibe with this. This is really getting you in harmony with that sort of holistic life. But Saturn's really being given structure to where you want to be going, and it's going to be working with this energy. And so it's really just helping a level of commitment to come in as you expand into new territory. Heightened connection with source is coming through very strongly, and that's that real trusting in the interconnected web. That we're not having to fret over certain things. If you find yourself in a fretting fear state, just give yourself a breath and then soften your body, right? Literally just allow everything to soften and settle rather than being in that tensed conflict energy. Did I say that? Okay, we've got the cards. So the intention of this Pisces North Node transit, we have the Death card and the Queen of Cups. Now, on one level, the first message that wanted to come through with this is letting go of fear, letting go of things that have had a hold over you, that have blocked you from going into new territory, and allowing your cultivation of your intuition and your serenity of where you're headed, right? These are both water energies because the Death card is Scorpio. All of your work houses are water. So there's a connection very deeply here to you through the elevation of your skills, the refinement of your skills. And the Death card is 6th house Scorpio energy of how you put it into practice, doing the damn thing, the work of it all. And then we've got the Queen of Cups, this sense of elevated of your psychic energy, right? You're trusting in the unfolding of the process. So what this is saying is your capacity to commit to doing the work, to elevate and expand your life path and career, right? So the Queen of Cups, as I said, she's very psychic. She can see far and wide. There isn't a cloud in the sky. She's not worried. She's not in a fear state of what she sees in the future. In fact, she's so serene. Look, she's turning into her environment. It's calling you to get in the now, to calm your emotional body, to soothe it, to nourish your intuition, your creativity, your imagination, and really know that this is a phase of bringing deep nourishment and your capacity to bring depth and nuance and awareness and observation to your life path, because queens are yin in their nature. They cultivate, right? So doing the work, one, letting go of things that have had a hold over you, that's and also the fear energy that we can have about how things are unfolding. This is falling away. There's a real serenity energy here of you trusting your path and trusting the unfolding in it, right? Remember that big trust fall that we're doing, that sense of leap of faith of the fool that came up in the Cancer side of your reading. as well as you know, that sixth house energy of doing the work, doing the damn thing, the transformative process of the way that you work, that is composting and cycling energy, that's then feeding into the Queen of Cups. It's heightening your intuition of where you're headed. You got the High Priestess twice, Gemini, so there's really a focal point on this trust in your intuition. This is also a very nurturing energy, so this is bringing in a lot of support in regards to where you're headed in terms of your life path and your career. People come to Queens for advice. So for some of you, this may be linked into your career, your life path, where more people are being drawn towards you for your services. So the challenge, Five of Cups. Didn't we get the Five of Cups when I cut the deck for one of the cards? Or what was it? I think it was the Libra card, where we got the High Priestess. So this is the grief card, right? This is looking at the Three of Cups and, you know, that sense of loss or things that have never manifested or never been so. It's a very heavy energy. It's a very stuck energy. It's very stagnant. It's powerful, and sometimes we need to be in this space. But if you see here, we've got the Two of Cups, the other side. That sense of unity, that sense of healing. So the challenge is you falling into this space. You know, perhaps there are certain things that may happen or have happened that have restricted your expansion when it comes to your life path, right? That sense of the pain, this may come from the ancestors, but there's this of you know, perhaps things not manifesting in the time frame that you expected them to do, and there's something around you holding this energy. Okay, I just got the Hermit card, but I did feel called to cut the deck. I've got the Ten of Cups. So there's something around here of getting back to the truth of your inner wisdom that's going to activate the Ten of Cups. So be aware that this can be a sensation that you're going to have to work with, and realize it's trying to tell you something that's an illusion, right? That's stopping you from getting into this serenity. Because say we've had certain situations, whether it's in this lifetime or ancestral stuff or past lifetime, that we then are in a fear state of what it's going to get recreated. That's what's going to happen in the future. That Queen of Cups is soothing that Five of Cups, but it is, you know, bringing in this this energy that is, it's going to provide a lot of wisdom when you allow it to move through you, when you ask it questions. But obviously try and not get stuck in that Five of Cups, because as I said, we've got to trust that things are going to change, right? That things are always evolving, and let go of the fear that they are stuck and they are stagnant and they will never work out. How to work with this energy. Two of Swords and the Sun. I like this a lot. This is the Moon in Libra, right? So this is the acknowledgement that you are in a new realm, right? You've traveled from your home, lol, South Node in Virgo. You've crossed the ocean, lol, Pisces. And you've learnt a lot. And now you're at the new land that you're going to be setting up camp in. And you're going inward and figuring out who the F you are, right? Are you going to be the same person you were in that homeland? Are you incorporating the wisdom that you've learned on your journey? Have you thought of things that you feel that are emerging within yourself? And this is the time of introspection, of that deep quiet within yourself to come through, and realize, okay, no, I am breaking free. They just pushed my chest really far forward with my shoulders back. Like really opening up the heart. As if I was going to launch off and fly, basically. So this is letting you know, okay, no, you're in a different land, right? But it is going to require this inner intuition, and I'll give yourself the space and the time for this intuition of what the next stage you want to do is to come through. So again, it's highlighting meditation, it's highlighting an element of stillness where you're going to get a lot of answers, you're going to get a lot of support. But I also want you to focus on bringing your creativity creation energy into your life path, because that's Libra, as well as you are in the new landscape. We all are. At the moment, we are just getting a bit discombobulated and a little bit weirded out, and we're figuring out what is going on. And because new skills, new tools of how to work with the universe are coming through, they're more accessible now because our consciousness is shifting, right? So we are just going through this very strange phase. This year is wild. The astrology for this year is, no one's seen it in our lifetime and many, many other lifetimes. And yes, astrology is always different, but these core aspects that are happening this year are wild. The work you do now, this year, and I'm always very mindful of saying things in time frames, but I feel called to say it, is worth it. Is worth it, rather than the distractions, right? That's not about not having fun, but you know when you're being distracted and it's not got the resonance and the meaning. The work that you do this year is going to transform everything, right? So allow yourself the space to be aware that you are reconfiguring to your new frequency that is beyond the 5 of Cups. And tap into your sun energy, this freedom, this lightness, this joy, this creativity. This is the inner child who is now protected and free to roam, right? So that sense of liberation, that sense of freedom, that sense of vision and clarity, it's a big yes energy. It wants you to follow the vibe. For those of you who might have issues around being visible, right? That can be a real sense of how to work with it, right? Get more comfortable with being seen and being received and giving, right? Because even if we're probably doing that in our professions, there may be a part of us that isn't truly embracing our own self, and this is what this is saying. Now, I'm going to pull a couple of cards for Sagittarius, because that's where these activations of these eclipses in Pisces are building. Similar to the Capricorn energy for the last cycle. So this is in your 7th house, the house of the other. This can be business partners, one-on-one clients. So that might be very relevant with the life path. Intimate friends, who might collaborate in terms of your life paths coming together. As well as long-term committed romantic relationships. Now, career, it doesn't have to be your life path. It can just facilitate it. So for some of us, it is about union. It is about connection of a relationship in a committed way. So that may be relevant for some of you. It's also your relationship with Source. It's Source showing up. So all of this expansion, this pushing into new territory, this new awareness, this elevation, this amplification of your life path and your career is funneling into your 7th house, right, of the other. And so there is, as I say, like this sense of a reorientation and knowing of your path that's giving you more confidence of how you interact with the other, right? So sometimes when we don't know our path, we can get small within ourselves, and this isn't necessarily about you fully knowing your path. It's trusting in the path will unfold underneath your feet. Pisces rules the feet. It's just allowing you to show up in ways that really serve your path when it comes to working with the other. As I said, this could be more clients. Finding a business partner that you want to collaborate with, you know, working together with your long-term partner, working together with or just generally having a stronger connection there, having a stronger connection with Source. Right, we've got one of the cards. Having a stronger connection to Source that's in alignment with your path, right? Because you're feeling more confident in the steps that you're taking. You're able to connect to Source in a way where you don't feel insecure, because sometimes we can do that because we're like, I'm not worthy. You may find that through conversations one-on-one with people, working with people one-on-one, you're going to get clues and signs of how to work with this new unfolding of your life path. You're going to perhaps, you know, maybe learning new practices when it comes to your career that you then putting into practice on clients. Diana. Wheel of Fortune again at the bottom of the deck. Hello, Jupiter. So obviously Jupiter rules both Sagittarius and Pisces based on the Hellenistic traditions, which is what I work with. That look to where your Jupiter is in your natal chart and the themes of the house that it's in. That's going to add on a more personal understanding of this transit. Also, the Jupiter transits. It's in your sign at the moment, Gemini. We've got that for a little while longer. So there's going to be a focal point on you and your understanding of your inner wisdom. It's then going to move into the sign of Cancer. Great, your skills and your tools. And then it will finish at 5 degrees of Leo, how you communicate. So you want to look to the themes of the houses Jupiter's going to move through and what that means to you as this unfolds. Also, you could get a personal reading and I will go into it in way more detail. Okay, so Sagittarius, the intention and how to work with it. We got the 9 of Pentacles, right? This is boss energy, right? This figure knows what they need to do and did the things. They were certain in them of how to bring about a holistic life, right? Happy work, happy home. Look, they're just hanging out at home. They're living their best life. Look at all those grapes. That represents abundance. But they knew what they needed to do and they made those decisions, right? So I love this energy in the 7th because this is about through this confidence that's coming through of you being able to show up authentically for yourself and your needs at a higher level, which means you're making the decisions and that are facilitating what your soul, i.e. you, wants to bring in. And so, as I said, this could link into finding that business partner, having more clients, therefore having more resources so you can have more of an abundant home time. You know, say you may have distorted your needs and your wants to the other in a romantic relationship that didn't serve you. This figure is saying, no, you're not doing that anymore. Making good decisions with the other that have a knock-on effect with your home and your life path. Your heightened connection to source, that means you're very much in alignment with its frequency. So you're able to then facilitate this expansion and make those decisions in terms of your life path and career. Right? I've got the 8 of Swords. Hello, Jupiter in Gemini card. This is how to work with it, and it's to acknowledge that there are certain perspectives and limiting and beliefs that you have that are caging you in that don't need to, because they are an illusion, right? This is about going inwards and releasing the perspective in your mind, and you'll see the swords of the cage around you dissolve. It is about getting out of your head and into your intuition, because this figure, the way out is through water, and water for you is how you manifest and create in the 3D. It's your workhouses. So it's really saying this refinement of self over in Gemini, that has perhaps had limiting beliefs around your interaction with other, around how you co-create and collaborate and what kind of other you draw towards you. It's asking you to sort of let go of your expectations and assumptions on an unconscious and conscious level that have blocked this sense of reciprocity. I just cut the deck and got the Empress in reverse, kind of doubling down of this, whatever this means to you. There is it's by going inward and allowing space, because I cut the deck and got the Hangman, allowing space for a new perspective to come through will help dissolve this, right? But this is keeping this like this, right? So a lack of abundance, a lack of fertility, of creativity, of feeling good in the 3D world. You know, through this process, you're going to cultivate longer term legacy energy. Right, okay, so at 1:11, as I said that, we're going to get a deck. We're going to get one card from 4 different oracle decks. First up is from the 4 Agreements Oracle deck. This is based on a book which was written by a Virgo sun, and the deck was given to me by a Gemini rising. Shout out to them. Well, that's 2. We're only getting 1. That this is one of the few books that I would recommend to absolutely anybody. It's very small, it's very cheap by comparison, and when you follow these 4 agreements, your life will change. So we're going to get one. It's very to focus on what does Mercury have to say to you about all of this. I love that card. We have don't take anything personally, transform your life. Ooh. So this is incorporating the Virgo and Gemini axis. When you refuse to take things personally, you avoid many upsets in your life. Your feelings of anger, jealousy, and even your sadness will simply disappear if you don't take things personally. This very much applies to the Virgo root energy, right? Of the self-criticism, self-judgment that can lead to external judgment, because we're making assumptions based on our observational skills without asking questions, and that leads to all of this. And think, you've got the King of Cups as the intention, right, of getting in that emotional control that is liberating you and setting you free around your embodiment of self, which is obviously that Gemini energy. Right, next up, Dialemo due shalima dufala dianima. Dianimoela dianima o tuela. We have from, where did I put the book? From the Shaman's Dream Oracle, representing the Jupiter vibe, so Pisces and Sagittarius. Where are you? We have Woodwives, which hasn't shown up for a very long time in both the personal private readings and on this channel. Adaptability, strong roots, growth, lol. I love how the North-South Node are just letting us know constantly, no, we are the same thing. We're connected. The Woodwives dance into your dreams as a reminder to be grounded no matter what life offers you. You need to know who you are, what you'll tolerate, and what you've learned to date, and what boundaries to set so you feel good about yourself. Life is going to offer you something extraordinary now, and in order to learn and receive its blessings, you must remember that being grounded gives you more freedom, not less. You have everything you need. You have all it takes to do this right now. If you keep reminding yourself to be flexible, you'll be amazed by how well things play out for you. The Woodwives are both wisdom keepers and students of the new world. As these forest spirits have an uncanny ability to adapt to changing circumstances and always find the perfect way to grow and expand. They represent what you already know how to do. I love that for all this mutable energy. Learn, be in beginner's mind, let go of your rigid notions of how things should be, and be present to what is right now. Unencumbered by your projections, is there a storm brewing because things need to change? No worries. Nothing can uproot you now. Oh, this is so on the money with that Virgo energy as well. And it will pass, and you will dance with nature and move with it all. I feel like that's linked into this 5 of Cups as well, right? Ituela di anima, of that not feeling safe. This figure isn't in the home, right? They're far away from it. There's a real vulnerability. Ituela di anima. Perhaps you're being given an opportunity to take a chance on something new, and you're not sure how far you can go without losing your footing. Have no fear, for when you remember your roots, your integrity, your authentic self, you can stretch yourself beyond the invisible line you drew. This is just tying in absolutely everything. It's blowing my mind. Go for it. You'll be so glad you did. Right, we've got 2 more oracle cards to do. The next up, we are getting a card from the Earth Magic Oracle, so drawing in the Virgo energy, and the other one is the Keepers of the Light, so activating Pisces. La dianima, Tofia la dianima, Dishanima dianima, Yanama dina, Ishanama, Tofia la Diana. Oh, there she goes. So let me get the book. You have Lotus Flower Unfoldment. Dialama dianima. Now this is not, it's not just linked into the South Node in Virgo, it's just activating the Virgo energy. And so it's going to be incorporating, you know, all those 4 signs. Itoela di anima. Why can't... It's funny when you just can't remember the alphabet and the order that it goes in. Diala moduela. Where does L come? Dishanima di anima. Dufana. This is too funny. Okay, we've got lightning. I'm in the right spot. That's one thing with the Virgo energy, is to really be okay with not being in total flow and total alignment and getting things wrong. Unfoldment. The lotus flower sits upon one of its leaves, having risen to the surface as the sun, held in the hand of God, invites it upwards to the light. This unique plant is rooted in the mud and muck at the bottom of a body of water, its stem reaching up to the surface where the leaves rest quietly. At night, the flower closes and sinks below the surface, only to rise with the daylight and once again gradually unfold its petals, its stem extending above the waterline 3 feet or more. What we learn from this amazing plant is how our own spiritual path unfolds and opens to the light, then at times gently folds in on itself for a proper rest when the daylight fades. This period is just as necessary as the growth, for it allows the plant to integrate what it has gained in nourishment during the day. It's also just as important that it is rooted, and it is yet another miracle of nature that something so exquisitely beautiful is formed from the mud and silt at the bottom of the water. Now, I'm pretty sure I said about getting good rest, appreciating that side of existence that is going to give you the downloads and the upgrades around where you're headed. Oh, that's beautiful that pulled that in. I am truly grateful. Your spiritual unfoldment is occurring at all times, whether or not you're aware of it. It is inevitable as long as you put your trust in the hands of the Creator, the one who holds the light. Hello, 10th house, Pisces energy. Like the lotus, your soul is always reaching for the light, those leaves expanding towards the sun to fulfill its karmic destiny. But even in that process, there are periods of darkness and times to rest. It is a natural cycle, one that cannot truly be coerced or halted. It has an innate rhythm of its own, one that is unique to the being that is you. You do not need to strive or be driven by spiritual ambition. It does no good to try to force growth upon yourself, or others for that matter. Allowing is the key here. Allow the place in you that naturally wants to follow the light. Sorry, I'm going to start again because my words have just started being really weird. You do not need to strive or be driven by spiritual ambition. It does no good to try to force growth upon yourself or others for that matter. Again, tying into the huge frequency of we are not here to push at things. We are here to soften and release. Allowing is the key here. Allow the place in you that naturally wants to follow the light, to do so while recognizing that even when you have complete faith, you will face challenges and occasionally suffering. Your steady faith and love will guide you on your journey of returning to the light. Yeah, that South Node manifesting in your first is a very powerful, it's similar to the South Node being in the first. It's a very powerful manifestation that allows you to feel safer and secure in how you move through the world. So much of our embodiments are based on the expectations of other people and their opinions, right? And we do a lot of work to shift through that. And this transit is one of those massive transits that really help integrate. Okay, we're getting the final card. Diala Maldoela, which is tapping into the Pisces energy. What have you got to say to me? What do you got to say to the Geminis? And as I'm doing, I'm going to talk about Jupiter being in your sign. And it's retrograde. And it was retrograde at the time the nodes changed signs. So this is really facilitating the deeper inner questioning and the deeper inner faith that you are cultivating in how you move through the world. It's going to go direct on the 4th of February. You're going to feel a big shift there of that embodied wisdom coming out in the world, and really allow yourself to trust in, have a faith in how you move through the world, which is going to amplify what's coming up with the eclipses. Okay, let's find Joan of Arc. Voice of truth. Stand strong, focus on your purpose, lol, high 10th house. Release the fear of persecution and speak your truth. That's just summed up everything I just said, of that fear of through the fear of persecution we conform. And obviously that truth energy, speak. Gemini is an air sign, right? Of finding your truth and your inner purpose and having the confidence to walk that path. Joan of Arc was a medieval French peasant girl who is reported to have been visited by Archangel Michael and other saints who gave her information on how she could help Charles VII save France from English domination. She was only a teenager when she went into battle for her country and won a huge victory. She was, however, later captured and burned at the stake. These days, she's a supremely loving guide to all those who want to stand up against the odds. She also helps many like workers overcome their fear of persecution. You are being encouraged to stand strong. You may feel unrecognized and misunderstood, but that doesn't mean you have to give up on the mission you feel called to fulfill. You must follow the will of your soul and exercise your leadership spirit by speaking your truth. You may feel as if you're on a battlefield, but this conflict will come to an end as soon as you stop defending yourself. You are not here to prove yourself to others. And that's turning into the reputation and the visibility wounds. And helping heal that. Instead, approve of yourself. Know that your angels are on your side and that heaven is thanking you for being the honest soul that you are. Oh, we had another one underneath it. Odin, psychic insight. Your third eye is open. See truth for what it is. Follow your intuition. I'm not going to read from the book with that, but that's a beautiful reconnection back to the Pisces energy of that heightened connection to source and your intuition. Right, my lovely Geminis. Oof. I knew these would be long. I really wanted to, get the information out. If you enjoyed this reading, if it resonated, hit that like button. If you're watching this before the 20th of January, you've got time to enter the competition by leaving a comment. 3 personal readings are up for grabs. If you want a personal reading, perhaps to dive even further into this, my website is everywhere. If you want to pay by PayPal, email me directly. But other than that, my loves, it's gonna be a powerful transit for you. Trust in it. Get out of the fear. My lovely Geminis, be good to yourselves, be good to those around you. Safe travels and be well until we meet again.